All of our readings today, especially the Gospel, are about community. All right? Community is good. Jesus wants us to take part in community. An easy enough message. Love one another and be willing to be part of the greater whole. That takes humility sometimes, but a person truly motivated by love can handle it no problem. Of course, the message might be a tad more complicated than that. If we ask ourselves, what is a true community? True community is an inclusive group of people that come together for some common cause or purpose. That's easier said than done. Now, a community that is not entirely there is called a pseudo-community. A pseudo-community is, it's like a community, but it's missing some vital quality. An example of that would be the in crowd, or a clique, or an exclusive club. Inclusiveness means that anybody can join, assuming they want to join and that they're willing to put in the appropriate work to make it happen. Pseudo-communities, again, like that in crowd, that might be a bad thing. A pseudo-community might be a symptom of a community that has gone wrong somehow. I know a thing or two of how that feels. To be trapped in a community that is not terribly healthy. It's unhealthy, it's selfish, self-serving. Jesus doesn't want us, any of us, to be a part of that. But a pseudo-community is not necessarily a bad thing. I belong to at least one pseudo-community, my group of friends. You can try to fit in, but the odds are against you because we're so geeky and odd. I mean, that makes inclusiveness a hard thing for us to live out. And like I said, you could try. You know, you could get in the car with me, and we could take a little drive to Madison. And we normally meet at a coffee shop before we do the thing that we had planned for that day. So, statistically speaking, we'd get there first, and you and I, we'd sit down and we'd grab some coffee. We'd grab a slice or two of peppermint, lover's cake. That's cake for lovers. That's flavored like peppermint. Not cake for people who love peppermint. Don't listen to the guy behind the counter. We've had this talk. 2 different cakes. And at this point, you'd be feeling pretty good about yourself. Like, I'm hanging out with Father Justin, I'm drinking coffee, I'm wearing the weirdest clothing I own, and yet I'm blending in really well. But then my friends will arrive. And the conversation will immediately start to involve cartoons, the specific fabric they used on the set of Babylon 5, and religious anthropomorphic fish. You're going to keep up with that conversation, or you're not, okay? Like I said, the odds are against you. And we wouldn't be excluding you on purpose. We're not doing this to be mean. The fact is, we have a very specific core group of interests and passions. And when we get together as a group of friends, it is very difficult to suppress that. It's hard enough suppressing it when we're by ourselves. And having an entire room of stuffed animals like 3 doors down from my office is not helping. That's the Christian Formation Office, if you're curious. It's child ministry, it's great. Anyway, all of this does not mean we're bad people. It just means we're not really an ideal community, because it's not really open to anybody. Because if you don't share what we love, you're just not going to fit in. I'm sure you could say something similar about your group of friends. And you know what? By the terms I specified, not even the United States would count as an ideal community. Just think of our immigration policy, or the way we treat the poor. I'm willing to bet the word inclusive was not the first one that came to mind. There's room for improvement. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm saying. So, I haven't answered the question yet. What is an ideal community? If it doesn't count for friends or countries or whatever. Well, honestly, an ideal community is a church or something like a church. Something where a people can come together and anyone can come together for a common, simple truth. And I mean common not as an ordinary, but a truth that we can all share. For us specifically, that truth is faith, hope, and love. And if we respond well to that truth of faith, hope, and love, we better our community and whatever pseudo-communities we belong to in life, albeit indirectly. And it all comes down to that simple commandment: love one another as I have loved you. Now, if that message isn't clear enough for you, I've got one more trick up my very poofy sleeve. The commandment, love one another as I have loved you, is a commandment that is particularly well lived out by mothers. For all intents and purposes, your mother is probably the first experience you had in life of someone who would do anything for you. Okay? Mothers will lift cars off of their trapped babies. A mother would give a kidney to her sick child without a second thought. That was a terrible snap. Without a second thought. A mother will pick a fight with anybody if their child is somehow at stake. Which is why I wish my mom was around more for my fights. I was never very good at that. You can think of your own examples, I'm sure, but the message is consistent. Mothers are able to live out that divine, that Christ-like commandment of divine love pretty much better than any other demographic we could ever think of. Love one another as I have loved you. So, let us offer up today our prayers for our mothers, in addition to all the other prayers we have for today. And after the Holy Holy, I'm going to invite any mother that wants to join me in the sanctuary for the Eucharistic prayers. We did it for First Holy Communion a few weeks back. Today I extend the invitation to any mothers with us today. And for the rest of us, be not afraid to let our prayers join with theirs on this holy and joyful Sunday and feast day.